Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
I'm Sam Healy. Welcome back, folks.
So one of the games that most people in the world have played, if you're a gamer, if you're watching this, there's a good chance you've played Magic the Gathering.
Or heard
Nope.
of it, at least. You've probably heard of it. How about that?
Nope.
Once or twice. So this game here is one of the first board games, not the first, but one of the first board games based on Magic the Gathering. It's Heroes of Dominaria, which I believe is the set that just came out a few months ago.
The Dominaria was a plane that they had a long time ago anyway, and they're revisiting it now, yes.
Okay, so this game's coming out at the same time. It's coming out
Shoot.
from WizKids.
Dropping the knowledge.
Knowledge,
Magic the
baby.
Gathering.
Ooh. It's a game.
I'm trying to think how I would describe this game to somebody. It's move a guy around the board, collect mana, spend it to do cool things.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Build a network, gather resources.
Network building.
Kill some baddies. Get some points.
Kill the Secret Cabal. Here's how it plays.
So as you're starting off the game, you'll set up your player board like this with all of your ley lines laid out this way, all of your manoliths, and then of your extra heroes that you'll be able to possibly purchase later on in the game. You'll also start the game with two objective cards that are basically just goals that you can work towards during the course of the game. As you can see here, the quest here says complete this quest if you've discovered 2 artifacts this turn. And if you do that, it'll give you 5 points at the end of the game. This one, complete this quest as you collect 5 or more mana from one location. And that'll give you 3 points at the end of the game as well. So these are basically just hidden objectives or quests that you'll be able to accomplish during the course of the game. There are also public quests that are out here, and there are 2 of each kind. So the first person to, for example, complete this quest if you have 5 or more artifacts. The first person to be able to do that will gain this, and it'll be worth 10 points for them at the end of the game. And then the second person who's able to do that will be able to gain this sheet, and it'll be worth 7 points for them at the end of the game. If anybody else does it, they won't get any extra bonus points. Now, with that having been said, the goal of the game is to have the most points at the end of the 9th, 10th, or 11th round. 11th round being 2 players, 10th round being 3, and if you're playing with 4 players, you only play 9 rounds. Whoever has the most points at the end of those rounds is the winner. Now, during the course of your turn, you're going to be able to do 5 different things. And those things are, first of all, you can move your hero. Everybody starts with a movement of 1, which means that you can take your hero and move from one location to a next that's connected by a dotted line. And that's 1 move action. Once you build more heroes, though, your number of movement actions go up. So if you have 2 heroes on the board, you'll have 3 movement actions. If you have 3 heroes on the board, you'll have 6 movement actions that you can carry out. So that's one thing that you can do. The next thing you can do is collect mana from one location that one of your heroes is at per turn. So, for example, if I wanted to, I could move here and grab both of these mana tokens, or I could grab both of these mana tokens and then move whichever order I'd like to do them in, but you can only collect mana from one location where one of your heroes is at per turn. Then you can use one of your Planeswalker abilities that are listed right here on your player sheet, and we'll go into each one of those specifically in just a few moments. You can also use an artifact ability. So during the course of the game, you'll possibly be getting these different artifacts that are in the game. And for example, this one here states that it is Weatherlight. So you can use 2 movement actions to move one of your heroes to any location. And then at the end of the game, that artifact is going to be worth 3 points for you at the end of the game. So you can use any of your artifact abilities that you may have. And then finally, you can complete a quest, which I've already showed you, and you simply, if you complete the requirement, you simply turn it over, denoting that you have completed that quest. Now, as far as your Planeswalker abilities, they are listed on your player sheet here, and they can be done in any order that you would like them to carry out, and you can do any number of them as well, as long as you can afford the mana cost for them. So for example, here you have the first one here, which is purchasing a hero, and they must be placed in a starting location. You can spend 4 of any kind of mana plus 1 white, and that will allow you to purchase a new hero. So when you purchase a new hero, you simply will take them from your player board and you place them in any of the starting locations, which are the ones that have the yellow circle around them. The next Planeswalker ability that you have the choice to carry out is discovering an artifact, which means that if you spend 3 of any mana plus 1 blue mana, you'll be able to discover an artifact that is at your location. So if you are at a location that has one of these artifact tokens on it, like this, you'd be able to spend 3 of any mana type plus 1 blue, and then remove this from the board and draw this artifact and add it to your tableau, which means that it'll give you this ability that you'll be able to use during the course of the game, and it'll give you that number of points at the end of the game. Additionally, you can confront a Cabal if it is at your location by spending 2 mana of any type and 1 black, and that will allow you to defeat a Cabal that is at your location. So if one of these pieces have been put at one of your locations, first of all, if there is a Cabal at location, you cannot collect mana from that location until he or she is dealt with. And they are dealt with by simply spending the mana cost and removing them from the board. When you remove them from the board, you will place them on your sheet here, and then at the end of the game, you will get points equaling the number that is under the farthest right icon that you have covered up. So if you have this all the way over here and all of these are filled up, you'll be getting 14 points at the end of the game. You can also build a manalith right here by spending 4 mana of any kind plus 1 red, and you can build a manalith in your location. Now the manaliths are these guys right here, and if you build them in that location, you'll be able to take your mana token, and this will be 1 free, I guess you could say, mana of that specific kind that can be used once during each of your turns. And finally, the last Planeswalker ability that you can do is building a ley line. And you do that by spending 2 mana of any kind plus 1 green, and you'll be able to place a ley line that is along one of the dotted lines that's connected to the location that you're at. So for example, I could build a ley line right here. Now what do ley lines do? Well, there are some quest cards that have pretty hefty bonuses and point values for having a very large network of ley lines, but additionally it expands your reach. So for example, if I wanted to, my guy was here, and I wanted to collect mana from here, I'd be able to do that if I had a ley line there. Additionally, if I have extra ley lines set out like so, then I would also be able to draw mana from that person over there, or this one, or this one. It's just wherever you have one location that is connected to your location by ley lines. Now I've just explained the action phase of your turn. Your turn actually begins though with the mana phase, and the mana phase is simply where you take one of these cards and flip it over. Now what this is going to do is it's going to tell you that all of the blue mana territories are going to produce 1 more mana, and then an artifact is going to be placed in Esturin. So we will simply add 1 mana to each blue location, like so. And then an artifact will show up in Estuin, which is right here, like that. And then once that mana phase is taken care of, then you can go into your action phase and carry out any number of actions. So maybe on my first turn, I'm going to want to, first of all, move, and I'll go here, and I'll pick up these 3 mana and make them part of my pool. And I have moved, and I have collected mana. I didn't have to do it in that order. I could switch it up if I wanted to. But then I'd be able to do any number of these Planeswalker actions or abilities. I can't afford to do any of them just yet because I don't have the right totals. So that's the end of my turn. And then once everybody else has taken their turns, we would advance the round track right here. And then we would go into another round. So at the beginning of my turn, I have to draw a card. Blues are going to be getting more mana added to them. And then Esturin gets a Cabal. Then I'm going to move my guy over here and gather mana from there. Now, once I am here, I am going to use one of my Planeswalker abilities, and that is to construct a ley line. So I'm going to be able to use 2 of any kind, plus 1 green, and then I'll be able to take my ley line and build it on any of the dotted lines that are connected to my area. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it with this one right here. I don't have any artifact abilities, and I haven't been able to complete any of my quests yet, so that's the end of my turn. So everybody else has finished their turn, comes back to me, so we advance the round track marker there. I'm going to begin by flipping over a mana card for my mana phase, and that means that whites are going to come out. And then I'm going to collect mana for first. I'm going to go ahead and collect these 4 here using my ley line that I completed last turn. And now that's going to give me 4 whites. I'm going to use this blue, however, to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an extra white so I can build so I can hire a new hero and place it in a starting location there at Estruin. So I'm going to go ahead and move over here to Cersei so that possibly I can take up that stuff later on next turn. But that's basically how the game is going to continue until, like I said earlier, in a 4-player game, 9 rounds will have transpired, and then whoever has the most points from their artifact cards, from their quest cards, points from their artifact cards, the farthest most point of any of these will be points added as well, and then the furthest along to the right on this one is added, and then whoever has the most points at the end of all that calculation, including all of these public quests out here, is the winner.
All right, component-wise, the game is decent.
Meh.
Well, I like the miniatures. I don't know if they come in every game, though, so I gotta be careful. I think they might come in like a deluxe version because they have the little wooden peoples. Well, he said
What did I say?
he didn't care if you played the miniatures at all.
No, I don't like the miniatures because you get one miniature.
Hit him with something.
No, not yet. When we're done. So you can't be culpable.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
I don't
To
like...
clarify, I'm not going to hit anybody.
I'll be the judge of that. If you have, what is it, 4 or 5 little dudes that you could eventually deploy onto the board, right?
Well, three. There's 4 wood guys. One of them is replaced by a painted miniature.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have 3 more.
I don't like that when you deploy more than one, then the other dudes are just wooden dudes. I mean, what's the point? Give me 4 miniatures, or I'll take the 4 wooden dudes. I don't like the disconnect. That would be like half the pillars in the game being rounded and the other half being wooden, like sorry pawns.
Well, I think
Why? Make them the same thing.
The painted miniatures are the planeswalkers. The
guys
the
are your
wooden
helpers,
guys are
your
just
surrogates.
heroes.
Anyway.
I-
I don't like it when games give you better components
bits.
than I don't like that either.
Other than that, it's just a bunch of wooden roads and wooden
Roads
discs
and
and the
ropes, man.
cards. The artwork is cool, and it's nice that they threw in a lot of throwbacks to like Black Lotus and the
Yes.
Moxes and all that stuff in there. But I wouldn't get this game. I would be like, dude, wait till you see this game. No, it's okay. The production.
I agree. It's all right.
The biggest surprise for me in this game was the speed of it.
Oh, man.
Gee whiz.
I expect nowadays, I mean, how long does this game say it takes? It says it takes 75 to 90 minutes. Lie! And
But
that's
like-
one of the few times,
That's like the
It's
other
on
way.
the long way. Yeah, this is
very,
not.
very rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not normally the lie.
This is-
2-player game of this, 45 minutes tops.
Well, 4-player game is 60 minutes tops.
I
Really?
agree.
Extremely fast, yeah. To the
Yeah.
point that I think it hurts the game a little bit because it's you are going through turns. And once we've all gone, you advance a tracker that tells you what turn you're on. You might be on turn 4 and feel like you haven't done anything, and that's a third of the game. Now, I know that's an illusion largely because you will have more people and more possibilities in, say, the third, chunk of the game than you did in the first. But man, it just feels like, the sand slipping through your fingers as you're playing this game. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to accomplish anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it an illusion. It really is that way to me. I mean, we get 3 rounds in, and I'm still just collecting mana. I haven't been able really to do anything of any real import. I'm just collecting stuff, and I'm 3 rounds in. I've only got 2/3 of the game left to go in a 4-player game.
Right.
That's not. I don't like it when games do that, and I struggle with that during most of my first play. The second play wasn't that bad.
Well, that's
But-
what I was going to say because I agree. That's how I felt my first time Once I played again, then I was like, okay, I got this. Also, I play that optional rule is one of the dumbest optional rules I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Start with 2 mana in every spot as an optional rule? No, that should have been just in the game straight up. Why would you deliberately
Hamper
cut
yourself,
resources for everybody as the regular rule?
Right.
That just seemed odd. Because the game could, if players are inept, the game could lock up. The
Yes.
Cabal could show up on the spots that it takes to kill the Cabal, then just keep growing, and pretty soon you're barely able to do anything. Now that we played, we're like, oh, we need to like handle this Cabals before the Cabals get too annoying. You know, when they're small, smack them down.
I do want to point out, yes, but someone's going to say, oh, it doesn't lock down. You can do this. You can build a pillar there. You can do this other thing. That's true, but it effectively locks it down when you're wasting 3 more rounds getting to build enough to kill the Cabal, when I could have done it in 1 if they would simply not show up at the places that generate the thing you need to kill them, which I did think was weird.
Nah, it's strategic thinking on their part.
Well, they're smart. I mean, the Cabal, they know what they're doing, man.
Sometimes.
They get their people and they put them to work in brilliant ways. But I still think it's, I don't want to say a flaw of the game, but it feels weird when I'm about to go, I'm going to jump in here, grab these black mana tokens, and then they pop up in there and lock down the place. You're like, okay, never mind. You know, the board, they're a pain.
That being said, though, I really like this game a lot. I like it because it's fast. I like it because I don't think turns take too long for, like, you're picking up one thing of mana and you do a few other things. And what you're doing, there's, again, very distinct things often determined by your initial missions. Maybe I'm going to try to get out all my ley lines or whatever they are on the board.
Yep.
The ley lines, I mean, there's good strategy. You build those monoliths, that gives you that free mana. That's really critical. Building more people gives you more movement. That's critical. And building those ley lines lets you build a network where I can stand in the middle and be like, I'll take mana from any place I want, you know, because I have this big network up. There is luck in the game, obviously. Sometimes that big spot you're about to go to, a Kabbalah shows up, shuts it down, and you don't happen to have the mana to knock him out, so it's going to take you a couple extra turns. You draw the mission card, you're like, I can do this right now, or this will never happen in a million years.
Right.
But because the game is so short, I just have fun with it. I think Magic the Gathering players will like it because of the throwbacks, because of the spending the mana and manipulating stuff. This is a great gateway game. This 14 plus thing on here is a joke. This game could 10 plus easy.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
That's probably some legality or whatever.
yeah, I
but
assume.
don't be thrown off by that. It's not for teenagers or more elementary kids. This is not a difficult game to figure out. I'm not saying. I'm like saying 3rd grade or 4th grade on up could handle this. I know they could.
I'm just trying to think. That's next year for my son. I don't know if that would be possible. And I'm not saying that he's, you know,
No, and I'm not
lacks
falling into that
intelligence
trap either. But
or anything like that. But I'm just saying that I think there's, in order to do well and be competitive
to
at this
do
game.
well, right? But I think it's not that hard to get into.
No. I mean, you can go through the motions, but no,
that's what I do.
It's got some pretty weighty things going on into it, and how you can combo things together. And one of the things that I liked the most about the game was the fact that you had such a free-form nature to your turn. You had a grocery list of things that you could do, and you can do them in any order that you wanted to. Multiple times, yeah. I mean, so it's kind of gave it a sandbox feel to me.
A little bit.
Because you really had freedom to do whatever you wanted within the confines of those possibilities. So I did enjoy it.
It's like a small sandbox, but that's good.
I think I agree with the one thing you said that I'm like, yes, absolutely, is I do think this is going to be a good game for what I can only assume is their target audience, people who play Magic. It feels like a Magic the Gathering board game. You are gathering mana and casting spells. It's got combos, but again, casting multiple spells in one round, that makes sense. I think this is, if it's found by that audience, I think it could do very well. So I think it's just right.
Well, I'm going to give it 2 Moxes up.
Which ones?
He just reached the limit of his knowledge.
The rarest was.
Ooh, that's a lot of
told
money.
you.
That's a lot of money.
I suddenly forgot what all the boxes were. Anyway, I enjoy it. I think the artifacts are cool, the neat things you can do. They give you like special abilities. I like the flow of the game. I like that it's fast. I'm ready to play it again. I get that it's not a deep game, but I don't care that it's not that big of a game. Sometimes these smaller, quicker, fast games are what I feel like playing. Actually, nowadays it seems that that's more often what I want to play. This one, no. I will still like a longer game once in a while. But here's the Dominaria. Yes, 2 boxes up for me.
Cool.
I'll give it probably not that much praise. I'll say 1.5 Planeswalkers up. He just hasn't finished loading yet, that second one.
He's an old guy.
So yeah, so that's where I'm kind of at. I did enjoy the game. My older son who enjoys Magic the Gathering, did not enjoy this game very much.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't like it at all.
Take back everything I said.
That's
Point invalidated.
But I mean, he's not huge into Magic the Gathering, but in the past he has dabbled in it a lot. So that's that. But this what I said earlier is that sandbox feel that really really makes it a fun game for me.
I agree. I think it might. My only concern is it might make a bad first impression because that first game is definitely treated as a learning game. It might mess with your perception of how much time you're given and how much you can do. I mean, the first time I played this, you felt the same way. Largely, I think it was this idea of what's up? Did we miss something? How are any of these goals that take you doing everything of one kind achievable whatsoever?
Right.
And then we played again and did half of them, right? So just be aware of that. But I like it. Again, not quite as much as you, but there's a lot of merit here. I think this game has every right to do well, so I also will give it 1.5 marks up. Rosewater marks up.
Don't forget, play with that. Start with 2 mana in every spot.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Which is how I showed it in the introduction.
oh yeah, well that's an optional rule, but it's an excellent one.
Yeah. That just makes sense, man. Why wouldn't you?
And get a monolith soon on black if you can.
You will need, don't ignore the black mana because
It's a manolith, by the way.
you want to kill the Cabal.
Oh yeah. All right, one of my thumbs just came down a little bit. That stupid mana, dumb
It's
name.
based on a card that's called that.
All right. Anyway, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks.